everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Hope everything's going your way today. Today, I'm coming to you with a palette collection video, yes. Today, I'm going to be showing you most, if not all, of my spring-inspired palettes. Yes, we're bringing in the spring today. So, if you want to just hang out with me, while I show you my spring-inspired palettes, then just keep on watching. Everybody, let's get started. Man. Okay, guys, so yeah. There's absolute zero time for small talk today, guys, because I'm really excited to get on with this here video. And I'm sure, as you can tell by the intro and the thumbnail, I'll be sharing with you guys, my peeps, my spring-inspired palettes. And while my spring palette collection may not be as large as some, it's most definitely larger than most, so yeah. Now's the time to go grab yourself a snack. So go ahead and get you some popcorn, some Funyuns, some Doritos, some Fritos, some Takis, some ice cream, some cake, some donuts, a candy bar, Gatorade, water, tea, juice, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe even a midnight snack. Because this collection video here is about to be a bottom burner. So let's get started. Okay, guys, so yeah, I'm going to try my best not to really drag this video along, and I'm not going to stay on the palettes too long either, guys, because yeah. All the palettes I'll be showing you guys, my peeps. Here they are, guys, here they are. And yeah, if my counting was correct, I feel like I might have counted somewhere between 57 and 60 palettes. Yes, guys, yes. That's about what's in there. So yeah, well, I would love to do swatches of every single palette. Yeah, that's not going to be happening in this video. I might swatch one or two. And again, guys, I'm not staying on it long because I want you guys, my peeps, to enjoy the rest of your day. So, without further ado, guys, we're just gonna start. So, the first palette I want to show you guys, my peeps, is actually the palette I'm wearing on my eyes today. And this is my most recent palette purchase. This is by Clarity Cosmetics. This is the Lily palette. Guys, this is a beautiful palette. And yes, this look is more than likely gonna be up before this palette collection video, maybe after, who knows, but I did do the look. Guys, look at this color story. This color story is so stinking cute. And guys, don't be deceived, okay? Yeah, I know this looks like it's a pink, but no, wait for it, guys. Wait for it, guys. Wait for it, guys. Wait for it, guys. Guys, this palette performed at bomb.com, and I don't even know why I'm gassing it up because she's about to discontinue this palette. And guys, it went half off. Guys, look at that. This is like the best $18 I've ever spent, guys. So yes, this is most definitely a spring-inspired palette. The next palette I'm about to show you guys, my peeps, is a palette I've never ever used, but I've had it for a long time, and I don't even think you can get it anymore. This is by Kaleidos Cosmetics. This is the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. Now, guys, what made me get this palette was really like the shimmers and duochromes. But if you look at the palette, guys, definitely look spring inspired. Guys, you got those pretty purples. You got the pinks. You've got the the oranges. And guys, I know you're thinking this could actually border on a summer palette, but we have to keep our deeper skin tone beauties in mind. And I feel like some of these shades will most definitely pop like a pastel. Guys, I mean, this palette was all the rave on the tube for a hot second, okay? It really was, guys. It really was. And I feel like I've had it so long now that doesn't even still perform right, okay? Because I feel like some of these, I feel like some of these swatches ain't swatching, okay? That's what I'm feeling, guys. I'm feeling like it's about time for me to get rid of this palette. But this is what the palette looks like. And let me just swatch a couple of these mattes, okay? these mats look like they have some promise, okay? So I might not throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. But yes, I've got this one. This next palette I have here is by Cara Beauty. This is the Cara Beauty Los Angeles palette. Now, guys, this is a nice palette. I feel like I had the BH Cosmetics one. What was it? Chilling in Los Angeles or something like that. And it was a pastel one too. But I can't find that. Or do I even have that? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I've got this one though. And guys, this is definitely a spring-inspired palette. Like, you've got those pastel blues. The purple. You got that deepening purple here. That deepening blue here. And guys, I mean, Cara Beauty, yeah, she performs. Her stuff definitely performs. I have not had a bad Cara palette yet, okay? That's what these ones look like, guys. Yes. Very nice. Very pigmented. Oh, yeah. Really cute. So, yep. I got this one. The next palette I have right here is quite the affordable one. It's by Profusion. We're going to keep it simple. It is the Profusion Pastel Palette. Now, guys, if this doesn't scream spring, I don't know what does, because pastels are spring. Nothing but spring, all the way spring. This is what this one looks like. Now, guys, as you see, this is an all matte palette. Is it? Yeah. This is an all matte palette. And I have great luck with Profusion shadows. Like, they perform really nicely, guys. Really, really nicely. It's going to be interesting to see how these pastels perform. But if they're anything like the Profusion formula that we know and love, guys, they're going to be just fine. How they do it, at $5.99 or $5 or however much I pay for these palettes, I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely spring inspired. I've got this. I have another pastel inspired palette by Clarity. This is the Clarity Soul Mermaidsy palette. Now, guys, this palette was quite the talking point when it first came out. And let me tell you why, guys, okay? First of all, this palette is gorgeous, okay? This definitely, like, this is definitely a spring-inspired palette. Those pastels say it all, guys. They really do. But some people were saying that these pastels were a little pasty, okay? That's what they were saying, guys. I've not used the palette as of yet. I only used one shimmer out of the palette. And I feel like, I don't know if she went in and revamped the formula after everybody was saying that. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I feel like with like the right kind of base, I mean, surely these gonna have to pop, right? Like, I don't know, guys. That's a little suspect. That's a little suspect. But that doesn't take away from the shimmers, though. Okay, that definitely doesn't take away from the shimmers, okay? Yeah, this palette is worth its weight in gold when it comes to the shims, okay? So, yes, I mean, and I think she still has this on her site. Faux show, guys, faux show. Definitely a spring-inspired palette. I've got this one. Okay, guys, the next three palettes I have here, yeah, they're all from Huda Beauty. Yeah. Are these Huda? Like, yes, they're Huda, guys. I've got her three palettes, okay? I've got the Pastel Rose, the Pastel Mint, and yes, the Pastel Lilac. Now, guys, this is the Pastel Lilac. Now, I haven't used any of these palettes as of yet. I feel like she came out with, like, these palettes that were something like this before, but not really. I actually did a collab with DJ Monet and KK, aka Camille here on YouTube some years ago. And I think it was some palettes sort of like this, and I decluttered them right away, only to repurchase some ones that resemble them. So this one is the Pastel Lilac one. Very cute palette, right? Very, very cute. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and swatch it and see. I mean, I don't know anything about the performance of them. So these are like the shimmers. They feel a lot like toppers, guys. I'm not going to hold you. And they look a lot like toppers. And then here are the mattes, which, of course, this is totally lilac. Okay, this is totally lilac. These two look so close together. Okay, it's ridiculous. All right. But I guess that's all right, though, because this is a lilac palette. And those are those right there. Yeah. I got this one. This one is the Pastel Rose palette. It's really cute, right? And yes, it's very rosy. I mean, rosy with this yellow. I don't know what she was going for adding the yellow here, but, you know, Huda has her reasons. Here's what those pastels look like, guys. Like, they are like super duper light. Like, there's not one deepening shade in this palette. You hear me? Not one, guys. Not one. Here's what the shimmers look like. Very pastel. Very cute. So, yes, I've got this one. And this one is the Pastel Mint. Guys, that color story is to die for. I love those blue tones in there. Yes, this is definitely a mint type palette. Let's swatch these shimmers. I feel like, though, some of her 9 pans, guys, I mean, while the shimmers sometimes are very, very cute, yeah, sometimes those mattes leave something to be desired. I feel like sometimes, I ain't gonna hold you. These 9 pans are like the pop-up shops, okay? Like straight money grabs. Oh, but that looks pretty promising. Yeah, that looks like that might be going. Okay, that might be going a little bit. So I've got this one. Okay, guys, let me just go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid and show you guys this one. This one is by Natasha Denona. This is the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. Now, guys, I believe when I did my ranking my Natasha Denona palettes, this palette was definitely like bringing in the rear. Guys, it is a very beautiful color story. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm going to give her that. I'm going to give her that. You know, but color stories have never been her problem. My issue is with the performance of these shades. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. While I feel like the mattes can be okay. The mattes can definitely be all right. All right, I'm not gonna hold you on that. The mattes can be all right on any day of the week. Okay, it's these shimmers, guys. I don't know. I'm not a fan. Okay, some of these shimmers perform like toppers. Some of them perform like satins. Some of them perform like something I've never even seen or heard of in my whole life. Like, I don't think of Natasha when, yeah, I use these shimmers. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, again, very beautiful color story, very pastel. Will I be doing looks with it this season? Absolutely. Maybe one. But guys, it's not my favorite palette in my collection that's a pastel, but it's all right. It's good for Natasha. So I got this. This next palette I have right here is by OPV Beauty. This is the OPV Beauty London Rainbow Splash palette. Now, guys, I believe I got this off the Boxy pop-up, and that was when it was Boxy, when they didn't like merge or get bought by Ipsy, and it wasn't Ipsy. This was when it was straight up Boxy. So here's what this palette looks like. Guys, look at that palette. And again, I know what you're thinking. Lily, that is more summer than it is spring. But I beg to differ, guys. I beg to differ. Again, we do have like some nice pastel-y type ones. This is like pastel. This can be pastel. This can be pastel. That's pastel. That's pastel. You got pastel all through here. And for the brighter colors, again, we have to think of our deeper skin tone beauties. What in the world will we deepen our shades up with? I think a good, well-rounded spring palette should have shades that you can deepen up your pastels with. I stand 10 toes down on that, and I will down our heels 1,000 times. But let me swatch it right quick, because I've never used this palette, and I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. So let me swatch a couple of them for you guys. Now I'm not gonna hold you. Up on the swatch, these perform a little bit more like Sass. But, I mean, they are still very nice, guys. And then let's just go ahead and swatch a few mattes. I mean, while we doing it. Ooh, guys. These are nice. These are really nice, guys. Really nice. And yes, I think my deeper skin tone beauties could turn out some nice pastel-y type looks with this and deepen up their crease. Yeah, I've got this one. Okay, guys, I have yet another Clarity palette here. This one is the Clarity Aloha palette. Now, guys, this can go either way. This can be summer or spring, but for the sake of the video, we're going to make it a spring palette today. Guys, look at this palette. This palette is Gorgina. It is Gorgina. And guys, again, you got those deepening shades in there, but then you got something that can be nice little pastel-y shades. You can actually sheer these shades out. Guys, this is just a nice palette. I mean, it's a beautiful palette. And no, I've never used it, but I'm want to use it. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. I'm want to use it for sure, guys, for sure. Look at that yellow. Guys, look at those shades, okay? Look at those shades. I mean, they're thebomb.com. Look at that yellow. Put that on a base. Oh, yeah. That look is going to be gone. I got this way. Okay, guys, the next palette I have here is, of course, by Mother. This is the Mothership 9 Utopian Dream palette. Now, guys, first of all, forgive all that noise in the background. That is nothing but Blue, okay, doing zoomies like he, you know, like he willing to risk it all. And, guys, I do believe she did coin this to be like a spring palette. Did she bring it out in the spring? But here it is right here, guys. Here it is right here. And guys, I'm sorry. This is definitely a spring inspired palette if you ask me. I think it's spring inspired. You've got this corally shade. You do have like the standard mattes that she always has in her palettes. But look, guys, you've got this like light purpley shade here. You've got this pinky shade here, guys. And I mean, listen. Listen, Linda. Listen, honey. These shades are going. Like, I don't even know why I'm swatching for you guys, my piece, but do you see those shades right there? Those are most definitely going. Those are like high-tech spring at its finest. And then these other mattes are fine. I mean, because, you know, they're Mother. Like, we do not have to prove Mother, okay? No one has, she has nothing to prove, okay? So, yes, I feel like this is nice spring-inspired palette. I like her curation of this. Yeah, I've got this. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here is by Artist Couture. This is the Artist Couture Ethereal Bloom palette. Guys, now I know this came out as a spring release. Was it a couple years ago? I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know it's cute. Guys, look at this color story. That's a nice spring color story. And I believe this came out also with the palette. Lila, you don't believe it came out with the blush palette because you know, because you have it. But yes, this is really nice, guys. Now, I've not used this palette. I mean, this is one of my many palettes of shame. And I don't even remember what people were saying about this palette. I do know that a lot of people who were getting it sent in PR, they were using the mattes. And people don't know that we know what that means. It's like when you decide you want to do an all matte look with palettes with shimmers in them, come on now. We already know, okay, why you do that. Because the shimmers probably are subpar. But yeah, this is a pretty palette for what it is. I mean, you got the nice turquoise in there. You got the pinks, the peaches. You got that pastel purple, yeah. This is a real nice little curated color story. I've got this one. Hi, I'm the Mercury retrograde. Remember me? Guys, I'm sorry. This Huda Beauty Mercury retrograde palette This is definitely a spring-inspired palette. I mean, and people have forgotten about this one, huh? Did we forget about this one, guys? Like, why did we forget about this one? This is a nice curated spring-inspired palette. Guys, I mean, come on. I mean, let's look at it, okay? We've got that, you know, little tealish color. We've got the little purples, the peaches. I mean, guys, there is nothing about these mattes that scream anything other than spring. I mean, I believe people was even talking about how, depending on your skin tone, some of these mattes won't show up. So that makes it a spring palette in itself. But guys, it doesn't even matter. You know why? Because these shims, again, this is another palette whose shimmers are worth their weight in gold. Like, we're not going to play. We're not going to play with these. We're not going to play with these shades, guys. We are not. Yeah. Really cute. And let me just show you real quickly what people were saying about the mattes, okay? Let me swatch a couple. Just real quick. We won't stay on it long, guys. So these are a few of the mattes. Okay. That's a few of the mattes right there. Yeah. That spring inspired as all get out. So, yep. I've got this one. And come on, guys. We cannot mention the Mercury Retrograde without mentioning the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. Guys, this is a gorgeous palette. Like, this palette is gorgina. And I don't know why I have not even used it yet. But, guys, here's what this palette looks like. Guys, you've got that pretty blue. You've got these pinks. You've got, like, purpley shades. Guys, even though this is like a cool tone palette, I still feel like this could be considered a spring palette. Okay? A spring cool tone palette. Guys, look. I'm telling you. These shimmers, though. I know how to shimmer swatch because, yes, I swatched them out in the store, okay? Knowing I was going to get it regardless. But, guys, come on. Tell me those shimmers don't scream spring. You can tell me that. But, we all know that wouldn't be fact. Look at that. Guys. And guys, let me just swatch a couple of the mattes, okay? I said I wasn't going to be doing any swatches. I mean, I've got 50 plus palettes, guys. But I feel like we're making good time. I feel like we're moving along just fine. And then here's some of the mattes. Like, guys, just spring inspired. Most definitely, guys. I've got this one. Okay, guys. This next palette I have here is actually by Makeup Addiction Cosmetics, okay? This is the Makeup Addiction Metal Palette. Guys, this is a pretty palette, and this is definitely spring inspired. Is Makeup Addiction still a thing? I don't know. I'm not sure. I've had this palette for years, guys. 4 years. But, guys, look at the curation of that palette. This is most definitely a spring palette. Now, I have often wondered, but I don't have to wonder, why we have these deep mattes in here to complement the pastels. But I'm not going to hold you. I'd rather have the deeper mattes complement the pastel shimmers than lighter mattes. Because I feel like this would then work for a variety of different skin tones. Now, Makeup Addiction, they've been around for a minute, and I feel like, are they like based out the UK? I don't know, I'm not sure. I feel like, are they a black-owned brand? I don't know, I'm not sure. I've been out the loop when it comes to them. I have not bought anything from them in quite the while, guys. But here's what these shades look like. Guys, look at those two shades. They are just cute. They are cute for no reason, guys. They're cute for no reason. And guys, I mean, the mattes, I mean, they're rich, guys. The mattes are quite rich, okay? If I would swatch them over anything but a shimmer, but that's what the mattes look like. So yes, a very cute, nice curated palette for the spring. This next palette I have here is by ColourPop. This is the Barbie and ColourPop Malibu Barbie palette. Guys, if this does not scream spring, I do not know what does. Guys, Look at that palette. You got the pinks, you got the teals, you got the blue, you got the coral, you even got the pop of yellow. Guys, this is a spring palette all the way. This is a spring palette after my own heart. I don't even think I've even used the mattes in this palette. And when I did use the shimmers, guys, I only went in for an inner corner highlight. But this is what these look like now. Yeah, you already know. We are no stranger to ColourPop's formula, okay? ColourPop has some of the best formulas for an affordable brand in the game. I think this is a nicely curated palette. Let me show you one more time. Really cute. Really, really cute. This next palette I have here is by Strobe Cosmetics. Now, are they still Strobe Cosmetics? Or aren't they something else now? Shroud Cosmetics. This is the Creepy Cute palette. Guys, this is a good one. Now, let me tell you what I like about this one. This is a spring palette. But guys, what I love about this palette, it looks so nice and grungy. Like, these are grungy pastels. These are like pastels with a twist. Like, these are nice. And guys, this almost makes me want to go in there and get the Creepy Cute 2 palette. I feel like the Creepy Cute 2 palette is like for my deeper skin tone beauties because it's like this, but a little bit deeper. But guys, let me tell you something. These mattes, these pastels, they did not come to play. I'm not going to even hold you. They did not come to play. Like, they are pigmented as all get out. Now, of course, you know, pastels are never going to swatch the best, but you put these on the base, I'm not going to hold you. They perform well. I love everything about this. It's even a black in here to deepen it up. Like, yeah. She did her thing when she created this palette. Definitely a spring-inspired palette, for sure. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here is by XNO Cosmetics. This is the XNO Cosmetics Valkyrie palette. Now, guys, when I saw this palette, I felt like I had to have it. Guys, and I have not even used it yet, but I really need to. Look at this palette, guys. This color story is the bomb.com. And why I picked this to be part of a spring palette collection is because we have some beauties that are not going to just be doing all of the yellow pastels and the pink pastels. But I'll tell you one thing, a blue pastel, guys, you can't lose with a blue pastel. And I just love the color story. I love the addition of the black. I love the addition of this like gray shade, the lighter shades, even this like burgundy shade. I feel like these go so well together. Like, they do, guys. And while I haven't used this palette, I have used palette by XNO Cosmetics. I think it's called the Ice Cream palette or something like that. But guys, look at those shades. These shades, yeah. These shades not playing. They did not come to play. So yes, I feel like this is definitely a nice alternative to the pastels that we're used to. I've got this way. Guys, I had to include this one in my spring palette collection video. I just had to, guys. This is the Too Faced Italian Spritz palette. Now, guys, did this come out last spring? Let your girl know. Was this a spring release? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But it's a spring palette, guys. We're going to go with that. Guys, look at this color story. I mean, come on now, guys. This is like one of the most legendary color stories that Too Faced has come out with in a long time. If ever, guys. Like, you do have a couple of warm tones in here. You know, they're going to make their staple in there. They're going to put some neutrals in there. But, guys, you got the pops of color. Like, you've got the pastels in here. Guys, listen. A lot of people were impressed with this palette. A lot of people were impressed with this palette. And I'm not going to even hold you. I'm not even mad that they are. Guys, listen. I feel like they did a good work in the community with this one. They did a really good work in the community with this one. Like, they did, guys. They did. Like, come on, guys. Like, have we seen this much color by Too Faced? Like, since, like, what was it called? The Then and Now palette or something like that. So, yeah. Very cute. Very spring appropriate. Okay, guys. This next palette I have right here, I actually chose the shades and created my own palette out of some existing shades that they had. This is by Lethal Cosmetics. So, we're just going to call this the Lethal Cosmetics. Lily created her own pastel palette. Guys, let me show you though. I mean, I think I did pretty good, all right? I think I did pretty darn good. Tell me this is not a spring inspired palette. Tell me this does not scream spring. Guys, I want you to do it. I mean, you can do it. Come on, baby. Come on. No. This is definitely spring inspired. Guys, look at that. We've got the pastel purple. We've got like this teal. We've got the blue, guys. And that bright pink instead of like a pastel pasty pink. That's going to set the whole look off. That's going to set everything right on off. But I don't even know how these shims are. I don't know how these mattes are. Just what I've seen in the videos. So let me go ahead and swatch it right quick. Let's see what it do, what it do, what it do. Guys, listen. Listen, Linda. Listen, honey. Don't play with me. Don't play with your girl. Don't play with your girl. Listen. Let me show you one more time. I'm proud of what I picked out. And again, guys, this is really nice. This is definitely a spring inspired palette. I've got another ColourPop palette here. This is the Powerpuff Girls and ColourPop palette. Guys, this palette is so stinking purple. And this is definitely a spring inspired palette. Guys, look at those. You've got the coral and the pink down at the bottom, which happen to match the blushes that they have in this collection. You got the green and the blue. So, like, you got those colors at the bottom that's going to give you what you need. Then you got the neutrals in there. But, guys, look at these. Look at these pastels. Guys, like, this is just a really cute palette. Now, is this one discontinued? Like, do they have any left? I mean, guys, now, this is a pressed glitter, okay? So, we're not going to swatch that on my hand. This is like a pressed glitter. But I would use this because this does not seem like that foul, you know, bogus glitter, if I'm being honest. This one seems like pretty okay. And then we're going to go ahead. Let me show you some of these shims, okay? And these are some shimmers right here. I feel like I want to swatch them, though. Hold on. We gonna go all out with it, child. We gonna go all out. YOLO. YOLO. Look at that. Guys, that's so pastel. And then, of course, I mean, let me go ahead just for kicks, okay? We're going to do this, okay? I'm not going to put it on my hand, though, but I'm going to show you right here. Yeah. This is a nice palette. This is a nice palette. I need to use it if I can find the time to do so. But, yep, this is definitely one of my spring inspired. We do not want glitter going everywhere. Let's just put it in a concentrated area. What? Did I think it was a good idea to swatch glitters on my hand? Okay, guys, this next palette I have right here is by Violet Voss. This is the Violet Voss Sugar Crystals palette. Guys, this is a beautiful palette. Now, guys, I actually also had the Violet Voss Flamingo palette, but I decluttered that. And I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I got this one, though. Guys, look at this color story. This is most definitely spring inspired. And I feel like this is like spring inspired for like an array of different skin tones. I feel like these mattes would totally show up on my deeper skin tone beauties. I'm convinced. Like, you can't tell me they won't. With a popping base? Come on now, guys. Like, these are going to show up. Trust me on it, guys. Trust me on it. And yeah. And these shimmers, guys, come on now. Like, the shims, okay? These shims, I have swatched a few of these shimmers. And yeah, these shimmers are nice too, guys. The shimmers are nice too. Now, they're not boom bam in your face. I'm not going to hold you. You're not going to get that from Violet. I thought we would get that from Violet. But we got a little bit, honey. We got a little bit. So yeah, but again, guys, nice curated spring type palette. Very beautiful, guys. Very beautiful. I've got this one. This palette was like, guys, this palette was the titties. I'm not gonna hold you. When it first came out and like, before she got canceled, no. This is by, I'm not even gonna say KVD Beauty because this ain't Kat Von D. This is the Pastel Goth palette. Guys, I'm not gonna hold you. We're not gonna play no games about this palette. Okay, we are not. Like, we can, but we don't need to. Guys, look at this palette. Now, this is another one that's like a grungy type of pastel palette. My alternative beauties, yeah, can turn out a pastel look with this palette. I mean, all my beauties can, but you get the gist. You know what I'm saying. This is not like your typical, ooh, whimsical pastels, things like that. No, honey. These are pastels with an edge, okay? They just are, guys. Honestly, they do look a little bit like the Creepy Hue palette, if I'm being honest. The Creepy Hue palette matte. I mean, the Creepy Hue palette mattes, though, I'm not gonna lie, they're a little more concentrated. They definitely have a little bit more pigment to them. But guys, I feel like with the right kind of base, these will pop. Like, you can't see nothing now, but trust me, guys. Excuse me, guys. I don't know how I forgot to put my phone on silent. But let me do that now. There. So as I was saying, guys, this palette is thebomb.com. Definitely spring inspired. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here is by Rude Cosmetics. This is the Rude Cosmetics Attitude Academia palette. Guys, did I use this palette? Let's look. No. Yes. Maybe. No. Guys, this is a spring inspired palette all the way. Look at this color story. You've got all of the pastel shimmers. You've got like peaches, the purple, the yellows, greens, teals. You got it all in this palette, guys. You do. And guys, Rude Cosmetics, I'm not going to hold you. They have got some of the best shimmer formulas in the game. And they're affordable, too. They're really affordable, guys. Look at those shims. These shims are shimming, right? The shims are definitely shimming. For sure, guys. For sure. Ooh! Yeah, there's some stanky shimmers, honey. And then let me just show you a few of the mattes, okay? Just so you can see. We're not going to stay on them long. But yeah, then these are the mattes. So yeah, show you one more time. Very nice. I got this from the Marshalls, guys. So if you see it at Marshalls, don't be afraid to pick it up. If you see any of the Rude Cosmetics ones, especially like this one, the anime ones, they're all the bomb, okay? So yeah, I got this one. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here, believe it or not, is by Dose of Colors. I got the Dose of Colors Ice Cream palette. Guys, now, I'm sure this probably is discontinued. Because when I bought it, it was on a super duper sale. Like, little to nothing, guys. But, look at it. Like, That is really a really, really, really cute spring inspired palette. Like, look at it. Like, you got that pink, the purple, the teals. You've even got some neutrals. So, like, this could be a nice travel palette, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like this would be a nice travel palette. I mean, when thinking about these shimmers, though, like, they might leave a little to be desired, but I'm sure they'll be just fine. I mean, you got a little something, okay, guys? They're more like satins, but, I mean, you can't win them all, guys. You can't win them all. So, and these are what the mats look like, okay? Quite the pasty one. But nonetheless, it's a spring inspired palette. And on a white base, this will pop just fine. So, yeah. I got this. Now, guys, I feel like I could not do a spring inspired palette video without showing this palette, because this palette is iconic, guys. It is, guys. It is. And yeah, it's by Too Faced. Now, you know what I'm talking about. The one and the only Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Now, guys, hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Hear me out. When I think spring, we think corals. Coral is definitely a spring type of thing. And looking at this palette, guys, this is a spring-inspired palette. I call this a spring-inspired palette because spring is not always about, like, the pastel blues, purples, greens, yellows, things like that. There are some of our beauties that they're just not going to do that, okay? I don't care what season it is. They're just not going to do it. But I feel like this is a safe one. This is a safe spring palette for my neutral lovers. My girlies who like it to look soft and sweet. Who like to keep it classy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. This is spring inspired. I'm sorry. It's the Sweet Peach palette. Peaches start blooming in spring. I might be wrong about that, but it sounds good on paper. Child, this is a nice palette. Like, do I swatch this palette? Like, do we see what the performance is like still? Yeah, we do. Because, I mean, I did it for everybody else, so I might as well do it for this. Okay, guys. So, yeah. You already know. Guys, blue is doing the most for the least now. I mean, look at those. Okay, I mean, the swatches are not, they leaving a little bit to be desired. But, guys, I mean, guess how old this palette is? Oh, no, it's not that old because I just bought it, but it probably was in the factory for a while. So, yeah, I stand 10 toes down on it. This is still a spring-inspired palette. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here, a lot of people would not see the spring in this palette. But you already know your girl, Lily. She has a vision. So, this one is by Dominique Cosmetics. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Rusty Glam palette. Guys, this palette, when it first came out, I want to say, wasn't this right around the latte palette time? The latte and the latte 2 or the lemonade palette, something like that. Guys, it was around those times. And the berry palette, all of that. Yeah, she had her moments with those palettes. Guys, this is what this color story looked like. And yes, I'm calling it a spring inspired palette. And again, for a lot of the same reasons, I called the Sweet Peach palette spring inspired palette. Because, guys, you've got your little corally orange, you got your pinks in there, you've got that baby blue. You do have this grungy type green, but that's not a summer green, guys. That's a spring green, okay? That's the foliage green, okay? Yes, like a moss green. And guys, you got the neutrals in there. I believe this is also a nice spring travel palette because, like, you've got it all in here, guys. And while the shimmers are a little bit on the more neutral side, I mean, you do have this lighter one right here. I still stand 10 toes down on it that this is definitely a nice spring inspired palette. Like when I think of spring, I think of like light. I think of airy. Yeah, I don't always think of like, you know, the pastel purples and stuff like that. And I mean, these have moments. These definitely have moments, guys. And these are the mattes. This is a spring inspired matte for sure, guys, for sure. Ooh, you know what? This looks like the blue out of, which palette by Natasha Denona, guys? The Tropic palette. That beautiful blue. Guys, I forgot all about this palette till I went to do this collection video. So yes, let's look at it one more time. I still consider this a spring inspired palette. Guys, we are moving right along. We are moving right along. So this next palette I have here is a Cara Beauty palette. This is the Cara Beauty 70s palette. Guys, this palette is so stinking cool. Guys, listen. Look at this palette. Look at this color story. And I know what you're thinking. Lily, is that really a spring inspired palette? Yes, it is. It absolutely is, guys. I mean, come on, guys. Look, I mean, you have got all of the pinks, okay? You've got the teals. You've got the mossy green. You've got that pastel purple. And then you've got these deepening up shades. Guys, that will complement the pastel so well. Like, this is a nice one, guys. It's a nice one. I got this from Marshall's. I don't remember what I paid for it. But I got it from Marshall, so we already know it was little to nothing. I feel like it didn't have a price. So she gave me the hookup. I feel like she went and found a palette that was like close to this size. And yeah, I want to say I might pay $6 for this palette, but I know it's worth more. Guys, look at those pastels. Okay, not pastels. Look at these shimmers, guys. Look at these shimmers, okay? Oh, guys. These are the shimmers. And guys, I mean, Cara Beauty, they have some good mattes too. So let me just show them to you right quick on my finger. Now, I'm not going to hold you. You don't really have any pastel mattes in this. Well, you do. The neutral ones. You have the neutral mattes in here. But guys, look at these mattes. Those mattes are going. So yeah, this is another one that I consider the spring inspired palette. Okay, guys, the next one I have here is also by Too Faced. This one is the Too Faced Papaya Pop eyeshadow palette. Guys, when I say I'm pulling these palettes out the crates, okay, these palettes coming straight out the crates. Like, this is definitely an older one. This is definitely vintage. Yeah, this is vintage as all get out. But here's what this one looks like, guys. Let me see if I can do it without blinding you guys. But here's the color story right here. And yes, I call it spring inspired. It's very light and airy. You've got the peachy pinks. Guys, you've got the deepening shade. Just know, a palette that has pastels in it, but also has deepening shades, that's a spring palette after my own heart. Guys, this is really cute. I feel like it looks unswatched, guys. It looks like out of all the time I've had it, I have not even swatched this sucker. But we're going to swatch it today, though, okay? So here's what those shades look like, guys. Spring. Spring, spring. Guys, that is all spring. Like, there's nothing that's not spring about that, okay? And I need to start washing off my other swatches. Guys, that spring is all get out. Yeah. Definitely a spring inspired palette. Guys, hold on a second. I needed a minute before showing this palette. This palette is by Sydney Grace. Guys, this is the Tiny Marvels palette. Guys, you guys, my peeps, who have like been following the beauty community for any period of time knows this was the collab between Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. God rest her soul. Guys, this palette is so stinking cute. This is definitely a spring inspired palette. Honestly, this palette is Mel all the way. You hear me? Mel all the way. But look, guys, here's where the spring comes in at. You got the foliage here. You got your pinks. You've got a little bit of lilac purple. Guys, and Sydney Grace's formula, her formula, listen. Sydney Grace's formula is unmatched. And I just remember Mel Thompson talking about Sydney Grace and pumping her all the way up, even way before the collab, guys. And I'm telling you, she been pumping Sydney Grace up since all Sydney Grace had was singles, okay? Before she started with all of the palettes. Guys, look at that. Look at that. Look at that pastel. I mean, you can't hardly see it because it's a pastel, but you get the gist. And guys, this is just nicely curated. And very quick story time. So, one time I was cleaning out my film room. And it's amazing how out of all of the palettes I have, I can see when one is missing. Okay, I know when one is missing. Guys, I was going through all my palettes, and out of nowhere, I was like, where's my tiny marbles? Guys, when I say I tore up the room looking for this palette, I like tore up. I thought I tore it up. Guys, I mean, I went shelf by shelf looking for this palette. Couldn't find it. Shelf by shelf. And I mean, that's the only place my palettes would be. I went through my drawers. Guys, I looked under my beds. I'm like, where could this be? Guys, I could not find it. When I say the FOMO hit me so tough, this was when Sydney Grace had already sold out of them, okay? And Mel was already gone. I went on like Poshmark, Mercari, stuff like that. Somebody had one brand new. And they were selling it for like, you know it was going to be a markup. I think $110, something like that. Something like that, guys. Guys, when I tell you, I paid that $110. I did, guys. I did. And guess what, guys? That palette I paid $110 for, yeah, it's in my room on the shelf. Because right after I purchased it, yeah, I found this one. I overlooked it, guys. It was right there on my shelf with all my other palettes. But I'm not tripping. I'm not even mad, okay? Because, yeah, I was happy to get it. So, yeah, that was just a little story time. But, yeah, this is definitely a spring-inspired palette. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here is by Juvia's. This is the Juvia's Culture Palette. Guys, when I say I was so happy that the outside of the palette was so indicative of what was on the inside of the palette, yeah, I could scream, okay? I could just scream. Guys, look at this palette. This is definitely a spring-inspired palette. This is a spring-inspired palette for so many different skin tones. And I'm sorry I'm holding it like this, guys, but if I hold it like this, you can't really see much, okay? You can't see much. But here's what this palette looks like. And I mean, you've got the blues, the purples, the greens, the pinks. The layout is top-notch, guys. Like, if you want monochromatic looks, yeah, pick a color. And you've got a monochromatic look, guys. And I mean, like, I can entertain you guys, my peeps, and just show you the swatches on my finger. There's no need for me to swatch them out because we already know. We already know what Juvia's does, don't we, guys? We already know what Juvia's does. Her formula is like pretty much almost unmatched. I mean, yeah, when it comes to her mattes and shimmers and stuff like that, especially in these bigger palettes, yeah, she don't miss. Guys, she does not miss. She does not miss. So, yeah, let me show you one more time. If you don't have any spring palettes in your collection, and you buy this spring palette right here, this palette right here for spring, this is the only palette you'll ever need for sure. Okay, guys, this next palette I have here is by Alien Cosmetics. Is it Alien Cosmetics now? It was something before Alien. Unearthly, guys. Unearthly Cosmetics. I've got the Unearthly Cosmetics Hauntingly Glamorous palette. Guys, this is a gorgeous palette. And guys, I know when I show you, you are going to be confused. Yes, this is what this palette looks like, guys. Now, guys, the reason I say this is a spring-inspired palette is because this is a spring-inspired palette for my alternative beauties. My beauties who like it deep. My beauties who like it dark. My beauties who just, you know, they want a little color, but no. Prissy, we don't know her. This is that one, okay? You've got the greens. You got that teal, okay? You've got that pop of red. You do have like that grungy type of purple. It's not really boom bam in your face, but it's nice and dark. And then look, you got the pastel pinks. I feel like the cutesy shades like come in the shim shims, okay? These are the two shimmers. Guys, yes, yes, this is a spring inspired palette. To me it is, guys. To me it is. Like, when you think about it, yeah, we need to have something for everybody, okay? And I feel like this checks off all of the boxes. I just do, guys. I just do. Like, here we go. That's all. That's all the pastel you need in this palette. I'm sorry. This is all the pastel you need in this palette, okay? Yeah, these two shims are worth their weight in gold. So yeah, this is a real cute palette. Definitely spring inspired to me. I've got this one. Okay, guys, this next palette I have right here is by Poppy Cosmetics. This is the Poppy Cosmetics See You Never palette. Guys, this is a beautiful palette. I use this palette. I feel like I used this palette when I did one of my Easter eye looks, guys. I do an Easter eye look every single year. I think I might have missed 1 year, but I do an Easter eye look. Yes. And I do it for Easter. Specifically for that, guys. And it's usually a fast video. There's never any talking. And I'm doing it to the same song every single year. K9 for you. But guys, look at this color story. Okay, this color story is so stinky cute, guys. This is a spring palette. This is most definitely a spring palette. This is a spring palette for all of my skin tones, guys. She included them all, guys. She included us all in this, okay? But let me go ahead and do a couple of swatches for you guys, my peeps. Just to show you, okay? Like swatches that I was not supposed to even be doing. Guys, look at those. Look at those. Look at that. Guys, I'm not going to play with you, okay? Oh. I almost want to run this palette back. But no, guys. No. I still have some I need to use, but this is most definitely a spring-inspired palette. Okay, guys, this next palette I have right here is by Lime Crime. This is the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette. Yes, guys, the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette. Guys, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that like pink and green base? Yeah. But guys, I still say this is a spring inspired palette. Look at those soft shades. Look at the soft greens, the soft pinks, the soft peaches. Guys, come on now. This is definitely spring inspired. This is spring inspired for my beauties again. Oh yeah, don't do all that frills and all that color. This is safe. This is safe. This is gorgeous. This is cute. Now I know what you're thinking. It was like a whole thing out about this palette, about how the shades weren't really showing up and things like that. And yeah, I mean, I don't trip on stuff like that. I think the color that they were really tripping on was like this greenish color, sage right here, because it really didn't show up. And I guess that's what people were most excited about, which is fine. But I mean, It's all right. If you use a base, it'll show up just fine. I'm certain, guys. Yes. There you go. This definitely spring inspired to me. This is spring inspired for, like I said, you know, my beauties who want to create a spring work appropriate type look. Yeah, we'll go with that. I've got this one. The next couple palettes I have here are by Nomad Cosmetics. The first one is one of my most recent purchases from the brand. This is the, what is it called? Isn't it called like Fire and Ice? Oh, Iceland Fire and Ice palette. Guys, this is a gorgeous palette. And I've never ever used it. Guys, yes, I consider this a spring inspired palette. Because look at those shades. You've got like the baby blue, the turquoise blue. You got a pastel purple. You got that goldy orangey shade. Guys, you got the light mint. And then this pop of red, okay? I guess that's just supposed to add something to the palette because, I mean, fire. Okay? This is a nice palette. I consider this spring inspired. I mean, spring inspired palettes don't always have to have pink in them. Guys, and anybody who knows about Nomad knows their formula is P. Okay? The formula is P. Okay? It's pimping all the time. Guys, tell me those aren't spring colors. Those spring colors. They are spring for sure, guys. For sure. Ooh. Yeah. That's nice. That's really nice. I got this one. This next Nomad palette I have here is the Tokyo Marijuku palette. I might have pronounced that wrong, but I'm pretty darn close. First of all, look at that. Look at that packaging. That packaging is so stinking crude. But guys, listen. Look at this color story though. Do you see this color story? This is absolutely a spring palette. Nothing but a spring palette. Totally a spring palette. Guys, turquoises, purples, pinks, teals, yellow, green. You name it, it's got it. And guys, these shades at the bottom, those specialty shades, guys, listen. I'm not going to play with you. Now, I have decluttered some pastel palettes in my day. But this is one that will never make that cut. Okay? Never. Like, I'm keeping this palette. I am keeping this palette. And the pastel mattes, they perform well on the base. Guys. But it's Nomad Cosmetics. What can you expect? What can you expect? Yeah. It's spring on the inside, spring on the outside. Spring on the inside, spring on the outside.
Clean on the inside, clean on the outside. Ice cream.
I got this. Okay, guys, the next couple of palettes I have here are actually by LA Girl. The first one is one from, I want to say 2 years ago, because I don't think it was last year. This is the LA Girl Main Stage Desert Dream Eyeshadow Palette. Guys, this might even be more than that. This might even be 3 years old. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know it's not brand new. But here's what this palette looks like, guys. And yes, this is definitely a spring-inspired palette. Guys, look at it. I mean, come on now. Look at it, guys. The blues, the greens, the purples. What I do like about this palette when it comes to the pink is LA Girl decided to go a little rosier with the pinks. I really do like that. I like that a lot. And decided to go pastel with the shimmers. Like, this is a well-curated palette. Again, I chose this because this could be spring appropriate for all different skin tones, because these are a little on the deeper side, but then again, you do have like these two blues right here and this one right here that you can kind of sheer out and make pastel, make a nice transition shade, like all that, guys, all that. Like, look at them shimmers. Like, Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Like, we already know. They're the bomb. And, of course, the mattes. Let me go ahead and do a couple mattes. I mean, while we doing it. Like, while we making this video eons long for no reason. But, yeah, like, come on, guys. Come on. So, yeah. This is a nice palette. Very spring appropriate. Don't know if you can get this palette anymore unless you're going on Poshmark or something like that, because I think, was this limited edition? I don't know. I'm not sure. But at any rate, guys, it's spring inspired, and I've got this way. And the last palette I have here by LA Girl is actually their newer one. This is the LA Girl Glow Envy palette. Now, guys, one thing about these palettes, I mean, the shimmers are fragile, guys. This palette took a little bit of a fall, i.e. I dropped it. So it's all kinds of messed up, but let me just show it to you guys. It's very spring appropriate. Yeah, there's a bite missing out of that. I tried to fix it. It just wouldn't fix, guys. I did have alcohol. Like, I'd even use hand sanitizer if I had it. But guys, this is definitely a spring inspired palette. I like this one because not only does it have the little spring colors in there, but this also has neutrals in it as well. And yeah, I'm going to swatch the ones that did not come up as a casualty. These are it right there. Very, very spring type of shimmers. That's definitely spring appropriate. The rest are neutrals. We've got that nice little mauvey pink right there. Yeah. It's spring all the way. Okay, guys, and since, of course, your girl Lily believes corals totally are spring appropriate, I had to mention the Violet Voss Coral Crush palette. Right. Guys, this palette is a coral lover's dream. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. This is so spring. This is so cute. Guys, look at that. Look at those shades. Like, those shades look delicious, okay? They look scrumptious, okay? I think about sherbet ice cream. I think of push pop. I think all that, guys, all that. Yeah, let me go ahead and swatch a couple of these shades right quick, though. I mean, guys, you've got all of the bases covered. You got golds in here even. Guys, this is just a nicely curated palette. I'm not gonna hold you. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at those. Just look at those. Like, this is just pretty. And I actually got this, I think, did I get this on the Boxy Pop-Up? No, I got a backup on the Boxy Pop-Up, but I bought the original from Sephora. Yes, I do have a second one of these palettes, and it looks all munched up. This is the newer one. I've got this one. Okay, guys, the next palette that I'm about to show you is actually by Norvina. This is the ABH Norvina Collection Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. Guys, this is a pretty palette. And guys, it's definitely a spring-inspired palette if you ask me. Here's what this palette looks like. Like, isn't that spring? I think it is, guys. I think it is. For sure, guys, for sure. The only thing that's missing out of this palette is the purple. But, again, guys, all of these shades spring. Okay, from the orange to the pink to the mint to the green to the yellow to the, guys, all of them spring. Okay, they do. They just do. Trust me on it, guys. Trust me on it, okay? Trust me on it, guys. Look at that. Like, spring. All the way. All the frick. Get away. Like, yeah, that's a handful of spring. That's a handful of spring for sure. The outside looks nice and springy. The inside of the palette is indicative of the outside of the palette, yeah. Very cute palette. Very spring appropriate. Okay, guys, I actually have a few palettes here by Viseart. The first one I have here is the Viseart. Woo, guys. Petite Pro. It's got to have a name. Okay, the Shoo Shoo palette. All right, guys. I knew it had to have a name. Guys, I have not used the Viseart palette in so long, I forgot where you see the names at. But here's what this palette looks like. Guys, that is faux show a spring palette. And yes, while it is basically pinks and corals with a pop of gray and neutrals, this is still a spring inspired palette. I'm sorry, guys. It is, guys. It is. And no, there's no need of me swatching Viseart palettes because the Viseart palettes swatch like trash. I'm sorry, guys. They do. I'll swatch a few shims for you. The shims swatch good, but we're not wasting our time on those mattes. We are not. Guys, those are cute. And even though they swatch terribly, they perform. They perform spectacularly. I don't know how they did that. But yeah, that's really cute. And the packaging is even spring appropriate too. Right. Now this one is the Paris Edit palette by Viseart. Guys, come on now. When you think of Paris, come on, think about it. Paris in the spring. Like, that's what you hear about. You don't really hear Paris in the summer. You hear about Paris in the spring, right? Here's what this palette looks like. And guys, yes, this is a spring inspired palette. This is a corally type of palette. Like, yes, guys, it is. Just making sure. Yes. It's corals with neutrals. This is a very sophisticated type of spring palette. Like, definitely. I think this would be a nice travel palette too, guys. I mean, that's if you're not scared to go around with your Viseart palettes. I mean, me, myself, I'm a savage. So, you know, I carry my palettes in my purse when I go traveling, guys, just to make sure they don't get messed up. But yes, guys, I mean, the shims are the bomb. The shims are the bomb. But you see what I mean by the matte swatch horribly? They do, guys. They just do. But yeah, I've got this one. This one is the Soleil La Plage. Guys, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up, okay? Yeah, I don't speak French. I only speak English. I speak limited Spanish, okay? And a whole bunch of Ebonics. I don't speak French. But here's this one, guys. And guys, this one is definitely a spring appropriate palette. Faux show, guys, in my opinion. This is what this palette looks like. You got the corals, mints, you got the yellow, you've got those neutrals. Guys, yeah. We already know. Let's not kid ourselves here. This is definitely a spring inspired palette. And let me just do a couple of shims for you guys, because I feel like I need to. Yes. Those look nice and scrumptious. Definitely spring inspired. Faux show, guys. Faux show. I've got this one. And this very last one is the Viseart Love Letter palette. Paris Love Letter. To be specific. Guys. This is another one. Guys, look at that. Look at that color story. That color story is most definitely spring. I mean, come on now. We've already talked about Perry. This is really cute. Really, really cute. Let me just swatch a couple of these right quick, though. Just so you can get the gist. Oh, so soft. So soft, guys. I've got this one. Okay, guys, the next few palettes that I'm about to show you are all from Glamlight. The first one I want to show you guys, my peeps, okay, is the Michaela palette. Guys, this is a beautiful palette. Guys, look at this palette. Tell me this palette is like not a spring inspired palette. Now, yes, it's summer inspired as well, but guys, we cannot deny that we've got those juicy pastels in there. We've got pastels in there, and we've got like deeper pastels in there as well. Like, there's not really any neons in here except for this one, this pink one. But guys, the rest of them are just a colorful, nice take on a pastel palette. And we all know Glamlight's formula is not anything to play with. Their formula has been the bomb for a long, long time, guys. It just has, guys. It just has, okay? Ooh, those look really juicy, like scrumptious, honey. Like, I need to use it, show them scrumptious. And the outside is a nice touch, okay? Yeah. This is really cute. This one is the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream. Guys, this palette right here is gorgeous, okay? It is gorgeous. You got your mints in there, your blues. You got a whole bunch of different kind of pinks and purple. You got a couple different yellows. You got the corals. You got the hot pink. You got like the fuchsia pink. You have everything you need in here to do like a springy type of look. Everything, guys. It's even some neutrals up in here. Like, for real, guys. I mean, you see it. It just really is, guys. It just really is. And yeah. Look at that saturation. Yeah. Even the outside, guys, screams springtime. Well, it screams summertime too, but we start eating ice cream in the spring. I got this. This next palette right here is the Margarita palette. Guys, remember this whole Margarita collection? It's like a purple base one, a neutral one, a makeshift one, and a green. Okay, I call this makeshift meaning that it has everything in it. Okay. Look at this. This palette is gorgeous. Like, this is definitely a spring inspired palette, right? Yeah. I mean, you can also think of summertime when you see this palette, but I'm sorry, guys. Like, this also can be a nice spring appropriate palette. Because let's say it together, guys. We've got to think about our deeper skin tone beauties. We just do. Like, you know, our skin tones matter. They just do. Guys, look at that. And for some reason, I feel like I keep swatching the blues. But probably because I'm partial to blue. So, just for kicks, let me go ahead on and get a little pink up in here too so that, you know, it doesn't seem like, yeah, no. I'm not giving everything a fair shot. Woo! Guys. Yeah. I know you see it. I know you see it. I know. You do. And guys, I couldn't mention any of those other Glam Light palettes without mentioning the Cake palette. Guys, this is another good one, honey. I'm sorry, Glam Light, they just have bangers. They just do, guys. They just do. But here's what this one looks like. And again, guys, I love it because it has a mixture of like the pastels, but then it's got like deeper shades that can give you dimension with the look. Like, this is a nice palette. Isn't this the one that came out like before the ice cream palette, before Michaela? I think this was the first one that had like the sweet theme, but it had little pastels in it. I'm almost sure, guys. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Look at those. Those look juicy. They look nice, guys. They just really look nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is spring palette. For sure, guys. For sure. Okay, guys. This next one right here. This one is the Glam Light. Ooh. Paint palette. But it's like the paint tool palette, paint palette tool. What's the name of it? Guys, just know this is the Glam Light paint palette, but this is the second one, okay? The first one had like more summery type of colors in it. They were a little bit deeper. This is what this one looks like. I feel like the paint palette too, I don't know if that's what this is called, but this one is more of a pastel version of the original paint palette. I do want to say that, guys. I do. And this was one of their first palettes. And guys, even their first palettes was bangers. I mean, even the big old gigantic burger palette, the pizza palette. Guys, I mean, they do it. And they do it well, guys. They do it so well. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Glam Light is the bomb. They face card never gonna expire. I promise. I promise, guys. Yeah. Did I say they face card was never going to expire? Yeah, it's never going to expire, but it's also never going to decline. Okay, guys, this next one I have here is the Glam Light Donut Palette. Guys, this is another pretty one. Guys, listen. Look at this palette. This is another spring-inspired palette. Guys, it's really cute. Really, really cute. And I feel like it has everything in it except for, what? The yellows? Yeah, there are no yellows in here. And it looks like there are deeper purples in here. You're not going to get the washed out kind of, deeper purples, deeper pinks. You're not going to get the washed out ones in this one. But I feel like this would definitely be like the ideal spring inspired palette for my deeper skin tone girls. Lighter ones too, but this definitely. Is really cute. I have no words. Okay, guys, this very last palette I have from Glam Light is the newest to my collection from them. Well, my newest pastel one, okay? This is the Glam Light Barbie Dream Summer palette. Now, guys, I got this palette from the Marshalls, and it didn't have a price on it. So let me tell you what they did, guys. And you know how much this really runs for on the site. Enough. It did have a price on it, so you guys know what I usually do when it doesn't have a price on it. I take it to the front and I take a chance, okay? They went, guys, they pulled a $7 card palette and was like, this is the closest size that we can get. Will $7.99 be good? Child, yes it will. But guys, this is what this looks like. Again, another pastel palette that's good for a deeper skin tone. I mean, it's good for all skin tones, but I feel like she definitely had deeper skin tone beauties in mind with this one. For sure, guys, for sure. So yeah, this is really cute. Oh, I might as well do a couple of swatches. I mean, let's not play the role, guys. Let's not play the role like I don't want to do some swatches. Woo! Those are nice. Those are the shims. And then let me do a couple of little finger swatches for you guys to show you on the fango. These are the mattes. So yeah, I've got this one. Guys, we are coming up on the home stretch. I promise, guys. I promise. This next one, these next couple are going to be from Juvia's, okay? This one is the Juvia's, the Warrior 3 palette. Guys, now, I feel like when people look at this palette, you wouldn't think spring, but again, I feel like this is a spring palette. Juvia's is a black-owned brand. And while I'm not saying black-owned brands are the only ones who have our deeper skin tone beauties in mind, they definitely do, you know? And I feel like this is the ultimate pastel palette for like, my deeper skin tone beauties. Guys, this is just beautiful. This is just a beautiful palette. You've got those blues, you got that green, that pink, that corally shade, that purple. Guys, this right here is spring. This is nothing but spring. Like, you can say that this is summer, but I feel like, honestly, when they curated this palette, they were going for spring. I'm sorry, guys. I stand 10 toes down on that because these are cute. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think is a summer palette. Their Zulu palette. That one, that's more the summer vibe. I'm not going to hold you. That's a summer vibe. But this one, guys, with that pink, with that blue, that green, these are spring. I'm sorry. I can't say it enough. These are spring inspired shades. And I feel like this is a spring inspired palette. This next one is the Candy Shop. Guys, now, you know this palette is cute. This palette is pretty, honey. Look at that palette. That palette is Gorgina, honey. Gorgina. And this is definitely a spring inspired palette. You have like, while they are saturated for sure, they're not like the royal blues and stuff like that. Not a neon green. You do have this neon pink, but again, I think the neon pink is good, you know, so that something can hold up to the pastel-y pinks. Guys, this is a nice palette. This is very cute, you know. But we've talked about Juvia a million times before. Very cute. Look at those, guys. Look at those. Just beautiful. And Juvia's, her site, she has sales all the time. Got like 50% off, 40% off. Hey, it's your birthday, take 40% off. Hey, it's Juvia's prom, take 20% off. Guys, they have sales all the time. And this is a good one to pick up. This one is the Garden of Juvia's palette. Guys, now this one for sure. This is pastel, okay? This is nothing but pastels in here. These are all pastels. You don't have a bright shade in here. The brightest thing you have here is this yellow. That's the brightest, guys. But this is definitely a spring palette. I mean, think about it. Garden of Juvia's. I mean, the garden. Yeah, when do the garden start growing? In the spring. Okay, April showers bring May flowers. Both of those are spring months, guys. So, yeah. These are definitely spring. Okay, again, Lily, with the swatches. Again, with the swatches, girl. And then we're going to do one more for good measure. Which one did I miss? This one. Woo! Guys, I'm not going to hold you. Those are nice. Those are really nice. And then here are a few of the mattes. Yes, guys. And on the base, even the Juvia's Place bases, yeah, these will pop out rather nicely, but yeah, a nice spring palette. Okay, guys, in this very last Juvia's palette, guys, why she discontinued this palette? This is The Deuce by Juvia's. Guys, this palette is gorgeous. I'm not gonna hold you. Guys, look at this palette. This palette is so spring. Like, come on, guys. This palette is spring. Like, I am not going to hold you. This palette is so spring. And I mean, this color story is a banger. This color story is unique. A lot of people, when this palette came out, were saying that the color story was confusing. They didn't know where to go with this or this curation of colors. Guys, I'm not going to even hold you. This was years ago, and I don't even know if I can find the picture. I probably can. I actually used every shade in this palette to create one look. Guys, the look was a banger. Okay, the look was a banger. It was a banger. These colors go great together. Guys, listen. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, okay? Like, and this is not a new one, okay? I've had this one for years because I think this palette has been discontinued for that long. Do you see those? Look at that. That is pastel at its finest. And guys, I mean, that pink, and then like these rosy tones, and then that brown, like, come on. That's gorgeous. Like, that is gorgeous. I mean, that even matches my outlook I have right now. So yeah, this one, I don't know why she discontinued it. I really don't. I wish she wouldn't have, because I feel like we've evolved so much when it comes to colors and things like that in the beauty community, that now creating a look with this curation of color story would be a breeze, guys. It would be a breeze. You can do a lot of one color looks with this, 2 shade looks with this. Guys, yeah. Let me stop gawking about it because it's discontinued. But nonetheless, guys, it's a spring inspired palette. Okay guys, these next couple palettes I'm about to show you are from Plan and Makeup by Yolanda. And they are the same, but not. I've actually got the Plan and Makeup by Yolanda Gem Rock Color Wash the China Pastel Palette. And I've got the Plan and Makeup by Yolanda Refresh Pastel Eyeshadow Gem Rock Color Wash the China Palette. Guys, now, yeah, they're both pastel palettes, but they are different. So let's first start with the OG, the first one. Guys, look at this palette. This palette is gorgeous. And I'm sorry if you hear something in the background. That is Blue snoring, okay? He is over there sleeping, living his best life. But guys, look at this. Look at those pastels. These pastels are gorgeous. Now, do you see what I mean now, guys, what I was saying all this time about why I chose some palettes to be spring, even though they had deeper shades? This is a prime example. Yolanda, when she did this, she had our deeper skin tone beauties in mind. This is it. Okay, this is it. And while some people would consider this a summer palette for what it's for, this definitely is spring appropriate. I'm sorry, guys. I'm standing 10 toes down on that. These will make like saturated pastels for my deeper skin tone beauties, make a bomb.com summer look for my fair skin tone beauties, and everybody in between. I love this palette. I have picked up this palette more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. Listen, let me go ahead and show you the Gem Rock Refresh palette. Did I just show them to you side by side so you can see the difference? Because there's a difference. This one is the Refresh. Now, guys, looking at the refresh, now this one has the lighter pastels in it, if you notice. This one would definitely be like for my fair, medium skin tone beauties, but still have my deeper skin tone beauties in mind for the bottom shades. These, I feel, will go very well together. Let me put one on top of the other. Let me see if I can do it that way. Okay, here they are. One on top of the other. You see, guys, while this is definitely catered to my deeper skin tone beauties, yes, there are a couple of lighter ones in here, but you have more of the lighter pastels in this one. These go very well together. And trust me, guys, trust me on it. I've done swatches. None of these shades match the other, okay? All these shades are different. Like, you're not going to find any of the shades from the Refresh in the regular or the regular in the Refresh, okay? And guess what, guys? Here's the thing. All the names are the same. The names of these shades are the same. And they're in the same order, but they're different. They are different. But okay, enough of all the yapping. Let me go ahead and do a couple swatches. Like, let's do that, Lee. How about that? How about show us some swatches while you're gawking? Okay, how about that? Look at that. Look at that. Then let me just go ahead and swatch a couple out of this one. But I'll do it on the other hand, guys. So you can see the vibe is definitely different. Even though you would think it was the same. Okay, guys, see, the vibes are different. They are definitely different, guys. Definitely different. Like, definitely different. But still, nice nonetheless. So, yeah, I'm glad I have both of them. They're spring inspired. And I can't wait to use them as soon as I get the time. Guys, we're officially down to our last 2 palettes, okay? So this palette right here is one that I've had a while, and what made me get this palette was Alicia Archer, aka Kinky Sweat. Guys, This is the Linda Hallberg Spectral Palette. First of all, can we give it up for the packaging? This packaging is so stinky crude. Guys, this is just cute. Okay, nothing about this is not cute. This is beautiful. Okay, it's beautiful. But guys, look at this color story. Do you see this color story? This color story is Gorgina. Now, this I feel is definitely a spring palette. But this one right here, I feel like it's a very fashion-forward spring palette. Like, look at these shades. They're grungy, but not. Girly, but not. You know, like, I can't really call it with this palette. All I can do is call it gorgeous. It's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. And when I saw Alicia use it, I was a goner. I mean, and I feel like what I love about her is when stuff is on sale, yeah, she'll pop out a video so that you don't miss the sale. And guys, I caught this on sale. I think I might have paid 50% off for this palette because this is definitely not like a ColourPop priced palette, okay? This is what these mats look like. Very cute. And then let me do a couple of shimmy shims. And I feel like it's like 2 shims and maybe 2 satiny shades in here. It looks like. Or is that like a matte? No, these are like satins. These are shims. Let's see. And those are what those shimmers and satins look like. So yes, this is very cute. This is very cute. I feel like I'm probably going to use this in a makeup I forgot about video. Because I totally forgot about this. And I really need to use it. Guys. I feel like Blue Snore has gotten a little louder. And I feel like it's because he's trying to save me from showing you guys my peeps this last palette. But guys, I could not do a palette, spring inspired palette video without showing this palette. Like, we are talking about performance. We are talking about shade. We talking about color story. So, I'm sorry guys, we'll make it quick. Enough said. Okay, guys. Finally, we reached the end of this spring palette collection video. And if you're still hanging with your girl Lily, you most definitely Earl. Comment down below some of your favorite spring inspired palettes, because your girl Lily's more than interested to know. So I really want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today while I showed you guys my spring palette collection. Yeah. I always love connecting with you guys, my peeps, every chance I get. every chance I get. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. It only gets greater later, guys. It only gets greater later. So until next time, guys, stay real, stay positive, stay up, and damn it, you better watch, fight, and pray.